Hi guys, today I'm going to be trying to do my first squishy makeover or redesigning of them. I got these little guys, they kind of look like Funko Pops or probably by the same company or very similar to it. But they're little squishies. I got them for like $1 at our local dollar store. I got 6 of them. 3 of them are Rocket Raccoons like this guy. 2 are Spider-Man and 1 Superman. But they're not actually really very squishy. They aren't slow rise at all. They're made out of a harder foam than a normal squishy. As you can see, I have a regular squishy over here. As you can see, it's pretty squishy. Not exactly slow rise, but you know, squishy. This one, it's hard. It's almost like those old school stress balls. If you use them instantly, he would probably break. He does have a look. He was bought with a little rough spots and paint missing on him, like right here, as you can see. He has stuff missing on him. But he's gonna get. They're both gonna get I'm gonna do 2 this week, and they're both the same little guy. They're both gonna get repainted. As I showed you in a previous sketchbook video, I had designed these bunch of little sketches. One's going to become Freddy, and the other one I'm going to be doing this week is Pinhead. And so I'm going to sand them down and repaint them, and just show you the process one step at a time. Minus the sanding probably because I'm going to have to do that in the bathroom. And we'll see how they turned out. I'm going to be using a combination of puffy paint and paint markers. So we'll see how that goes. So stay tuned. So here's a bunch of transitions for me doing the paint process, and I'm going to show you how basically talk through my process as I'm painting of what I did with each squishy. So here we go. Get that set up real quick. So here I'm painting on a basic, after sanding it, paint on a basic layer of neon pink puffy paint, because nobody really uses neon for anything else. I'm just filling in the gaps, trying to smooth everything out. There were some rough spots in the squishy where it tore in the shoulders, and I'm just kind of filling everything back in, trying to get everything smooth out. And I quickly did both of them. Here I'm painting on the first layer of doing Freddy. First I'm painting on a layer of peach. I combined orange, red, and a little bit of pink and yellow to make this nice little peach flesh tone. I've already mixed my paints and got that set up while I was waiting for the first layer to dry. And I'm painting on the first layer of actual coloring. I'm doing a white for his base here because I knew I was going to be using paint markers to paint on the details of his shirt and his pants. So I'm going to making a thick layer of white to paint on top of. And this is me just painting on the first layer. Quickly talking to myself. My camera fell there. Camera malfunction. I think my boyfriend accidentally had bumped the table and shut the camera there. We're actually using, because we have limited space of our apartment, I'm using our gaming table as our laptop stand, our gaming stand, and basically just our overall every use table. So I'm using half of it for painting, he was using half of it to play his video games, and that's just the way it is. It's because of our apartment setup. So now I've moved on to painting a Pinhead, which was easy because I just used the white, again, just plain white paint to paint on the layer of his head, and then black for his base because Pinhead wears a long robe. I was painting on his little white hands, so because his hands do stick out from his robe. And I was being weird there, making duck noises. I don't know why. Just me being weird. Painting some more. I'm doing the basic first layer. You can see my cat in the background licking our carpet for whatever reason. I don't know why. And then rolling around and trying to get attention. That's our one cat, Loki. We have another one that can be seen in some of the videos. Thor, who resides around here too somewhere. Now I'm painting the second layer on. It's, as you can see, it's getting a little bit thicker, a little bit more darker, but as you can see, the pink outline of Rocket's eyes are still seen, and so it was getting a little. I had to do a lot of layers so that their eyeballs could not be seen. And I'm using a sponge brush just to smooth everything out after I paint, like glob it on. I'll glob on the paint with an actual brush, and to smooth it out so it's all nice and smooth, after the fact, I use a sponge brush just to smooth it out and make it all even. And now I've moved on to the pinhead again, do the next layer. Yeah, you have basically, during downtime, you have to wait 2 solid hours between dry time just to have it dry good, and so it's not still tacky or wet, fully tacky and wet. It says 4 hours, but I think that's on if you're doing a fabric, because, you know, fabric's thinner and the different material. This is less of the type of material that would bleed through. So it takes less dry time, but it was still 2 hours wait time. And so I had a lot of free downtime, which I usually end up playing Magic the Gathering or on Arena, or it was doing Pokemon, testing out Pokemon randomizers and doing different things. Playing a lot of Star Wars Old Republic currently, which I'm probably going to start streaming some of that on my gaming channel eventually. So that's something to look forward to in the future. But yeah, Nerdy Crafter and Myra Elizabeth weren't joking when they actually, in their videos, when they actually said it takes a while between layers. And this was all, I did it, I think it took me like 3 days, stretched out, doing all of it. That was our other cat that just ran by. And so this is why, like, if they do a squishy video, they only do 1 or 2 squishies, maybe 3 if it's smaller, like, 2 big ones and a small one throughout the week, because it does take a lot of time. I mean, while you do have a lot of downtime, I don't have a lot of space for drying, so that's why I did the styrofoam container right there. I took little toothpicks on the end to hold them so I could rotate it. As you can see, it was actually kind of an ingenious idea. And that was me finishing the layers. I didn't show you the painting the last layer, so here's the ending and the final product that you'll be able to see here coming up right now. But yeah, as you can see, I did this little rotating base and put it in the closet to dry. And here's the final results. So if you're wondering why I'm wearing different clothes, different day, when they said it took a long time to paint layers for the finished product, it really took a long time to paint layers. I don't know how many I went through, but it was probably close to 10. And I was doing 2. If you don't remember what the original thing was, it was this little guy, this little rocket guy. And the finished product, I didn't show every layer being painted because, again, a lot of layers, and my camera angle and the way I hold my hand when I paint the brush because of arthritis kind of was tricky and in the way. So I didn't show the final stages of me finishing off Freddy and paint on his eyes and stuff because of the way I hold my pens and stuff couldn't be seen. So this is the finished Freddy. I really like how he turned out. I like his little face. It took forever to get perfectly right because when you're drawing on paper, it's flat. When you're drawing on a round surface, you're trying to get the eyes even. So I know his eyes might be slightly uneven, but he's still kind of cute the way he turned out. And I used not Posca pens, but still a paint marker for it, and his shirt and pants, just because of the fine details, and I knew the brush I had would never be able to get in there. I mean, if you look closely, you can even see his little claw hand. And then there's the backside of Freddy. They're still not super squishy because I was working with a hard foam squishy to begin with. But because of the way I was holding them in place, as you can see in the previous video, part of the video, with toothpicks when I was painting them, it does let a little bit more air in, so it's a tad bit more squishy. But again, I'm not going to be, they're more for collecting and decoration purposes than squishing purposes in the first place. And then the last one I did was, as you can see, Pinhead again. His body, I guess because it's, if you look at Rocket's body, it was darker originally. The black paint, also because it's thicker, took a lot less layers of paint. Pinhead's head took forever because you could still see Rocket's eyes coming through and all this stuff, and I took literally a lot more layers than any of the other things I painted. And that's because I was using, pure white for obviously Pinhead's head. But there's little Pinhead. He has his little grid. I used definitely paint pens for his grid and his little, if you look really closely, his little, I'm waiting for it to focus, his little silver pins in his head. I did actually obviously want to stick pins or have anything raised on it because, it's a squishy. And so I did that, and then I had, for his chest I used not Posca pens, but paint pens, and did his little weird torn flesh, exposed stomach thing going on. And then I actually had, because I assumed, originally, because it's been a long time since I've seen Hellraiser, that his pins went all the way back to his head, but I actually looked at the back of a picture of his head. He does not. In fact, he has part of his robe thing comes up, and it hooks into his actual head. Because, again, they're Xeno bits, and that's Geiger style. And so I actually got that and had the two little hooks that come out of his robe into his head. And again, paint's on there. It did bleed through a little bit right here, which I might have to go up and touch up, where my finger touched the wet red paint. But I'll have to touch that up eventually later. But I like how he turned out. He's kind of cute. And so that's all for my first squishy makeover. I hope you enjoyed everything, and, if you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe because it does help. And thank you, and have a good day.